السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. نيابة عن سجر الخليج نرحب بكم جميعا في هذا الحدث حول البصمة البيئية لمنطقة دول مجلس التعاون الخليجي. سجر الخليج نيابة عن مجلس إدارتها ومكتب أمانتها العامة تسعد بوجودكم اليوم لمناقشة هذا الموضوع الهام، والفرصة الآن متروكة لسعادة المهندس أحمد الرحبي عضو مجلس إدارة سجر الخليج ممثل سلطنة عمان للترحيب بالحضور نيابة عن سجر الخليج، فليتفضل مشكورا.
شكرا أستاذ محمد.
Yes, hi, hello there. Sorry, just wanted to check like if you guys could hear it all.
I think you can hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well. Yes.
Okay, so Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we thank you all of you for attending this seminar, and I extended on behalf of GCC Cigre a warm welcome to all of you to this high anticipated event, the one-day seminar on the an honor to have gathered representatives united in our shared commitments to addressing environmental challenges. So for today, the seminar will cover and focus on certain areas as emissions reduction and air pollution reduction, demand side management. So this is in short, and additionally, I am delighted to announce that we will be hosting a workshop in the following months. Mohammed will take us about this seminar for the full day. And in conclusion, I would like to express my deepest appreciation for the utilities seminar. Your presence underscores your and greener future for the GCC region. Let us seize this opportunity. Inshallah, together we can brave and wait and prosper utility sector in the GCC. Thank you all of you, and wish you a great. And I think Dr. and the agenda also, and the sequence of the seminar. Thank you all of you.
Thank you very much. So now we will start with our team members from Kuwait, and so can I ask the Kuwaiti team members to open your camera and so that they can just start the presentation.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معكم أخوكم فيصل الشمري من وزارة الكهرباء والماء من دولة الكويت. We are sorry for the bad network from yesterday till I think today. We have the same issues with the network for whole Kuwait. So if there is any poor network quality, please just let us know. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you ready to start the presentation?
Yes. Yes, please. If you can share the screen, we can see it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it shown now?
Yes, the screen is there. Yeah. Yes, so your screen is alive. Alive. We can see it.
Yeah, now it's shown. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can start, right?
Yes. Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
First of all, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most merciful. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Faisal Al-Shamari, a consultant mechanical engineer from the Ministry of Electricity and Water and Renewable Energy. I will talk today with my team, Engineer Fatma Al-Hajri, a senior chemical engineer, and Engineer Rawan Al-Momin, civil engineer, and Engineer Muna Ma'rafi, a senior chemical engineer, who I will talk on behalf of her. Inshallah, today we will show a brief presentation on the environmental footprint of the utility sector in Kuwait. We will start with Engineer Fatma Al-Hajri, who will explain to you the vision of the state of Kuwait on how to control the emission on carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases from supply side. So she will cover the supply side and the energy efficiency. After which, Engineer Rawan, inshallah, will present the greenhouse gases emissions part and how the state of Kuwait try to control and reduce the emissions. Finally, I will back again to you on behalf of me and Engineer Muna Ma'rafi with the demand side management, showing the policies and initiatives done by the state of Kuwait, also to reduce the demand of electricity, and the greenhouse gases emission will be reflected as well. Engineer Fatma.
Assalamu alaikum.
Just 1 second, Engineer.
Assalamu alaikum. We're happy to join you today in your webinar with you, Engineer Sana Al-Gharib from Ministry of Electricity and Water.
So Engineer Fatma will continue with you.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear her. Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, we are glad to participate with you. First of all, I will start with energy efficiency. Okay, Kuwait, as you know, Kuwait seeks to improve the efficiency of the power production, electrical power plants, by adopting high efficiency technologies in the future plans for power plants, and increasing the fuel gas consumptions for the power plants. First of all, I will talk about the high efficiency technologies that we are adopting. As you can see, the combined cycle gas turbine. As we all know, the total demand is increasing, so we are expecting to total generating capacity to reach 32 gigawatt in 2035. Combined cycle will take up the lion's share of the capacity expansion over the projection period for more efficient and flexible fleet of power plants compared to today. So mostly it will be using gas fuel. As you can see, for now, what we are the utilization of the combined cycle and open cycle gas turbine. As Azor power plant, combined cycle is taking a big share of the generation, as also Sabiya power plant, as you can see, stage 1, 3, and Sabiya West. As in Kuwait, for the gas turbine percent is increased as in power generation since the last 10 years, and it reached approximately to 57% for the gas turbine. So in the other, you can see the percent of this combined cycle gas turbine reached 48%. On the other side, the open cycle and steam 52%. And Kuwait is heading to increase the combined cycle gas turbine with the future plants that we have, and upgrading existing power stations. As you all can see, natural gas combined cycle, as you all know, in this technology, we are saving energy and using less fuel gas for it. We can use the exhaust heat from the gas turbine to generate steam and use it in the steam turbine to generate extra power without any additional fuel, leading to less emissions. In our plants now in Kuwait for efficiency for the steam turbines, it's reaching for 30 to 45%, where our CCGT units can achieve approximately up to 50-55%. And Kuwait is targeting to reach 60% in the combined cycle gas turbine. Now I will show you the plans that we have to our power stations. We have upgraded existing units in the combined cycle. First of all, in Sabiya, we have 2 units was upgraded to combined cycle. And in Zor South, we have 3 units upgraded to combined cycle, which improved the total efficiency. As you can see in Sabiya, it was approximately 37. When we convert it to combined cycle, it reached 53 to 56% efficiency. Same as for the stage 1. It reaches after the combined cycle 57 to 58%. Same as for Zor South. We increased the efficiency from range of 30s, 35 to 37. Now it's approximately 47 to 48. Stage 2, Zor South, it was in the range of 30s. Now it's reaching 47 to 52. And stage 3, now it reached the efficiency of 46 to 52. And we are trying to reach more efficiency by depending only on the natural gas as much as we can. As you can see, we have also running projects, but this one is a whole new project, like Sabiya West and Shaiba North and Zor North. It's approximately the efficiency between 46 to 48%. In the future side, we have new projects. In Sabiya Stage 2 to upgrade with a total 750 megawatt, and Sabiya Stage 4. And we have also the project Zor North Stage 2 and 3, Al Khairan Stage 1, and in Wasib Stage 1. Also, in the future projects, we have a project with KOC South Ritga Co-Generation Project. As this project is a synergy between MEW and KOC. It's a key success factor in oil industry. And to achieve highest energy efficiency management, optimized cost per barrel. What will Kuwait benefit from this project? Increase the heavy oil production, optimize the heavy oil costs, and support MEW future plan for providing power, 1,200 megawatt, and potential savings about 25 to 30% reduction of CO2 emissions, and reduction in fuel gas consumption and Qatari levels. As you all can see, Kuwait is heading to use the fuel gas. As we increase the fuel gas consumption, and it reached until 2022 58%, and as per Kuwait Vision, we are trying to reach 70% by 2035. Now we hand the other part, the greenhouse gases emissions, with Engineer Rawan. She will continue. Thank you so much.
Hello, this is Engineer Rawan. Glad to meet all of you today. Right now, I will talk about green gas emission reduction. So Kuwait is committed toward the economic growth with low carbon and climate change development. Several projects and strategies have been undertaken to save the environment and reduce the total carbon emission in Kuwait. In this part of the presentation, we will be focused on the greenhouse emissions of the energy sectors in the past few years. First, let's take a quick review at the main emissions by greenhouse gases types. First, we have the carbon dioxide, and it's usually between 96 to 97% of Kuwaiti's total greenhouse emissions. The main reason for that is because carbon dioxide enters the atmosphere through burning fossil fuel. And in Kuwait, we burn the fuel to produce water and electricity. Then we have methane, which is only 2%, and it's considered as the second largest share of greenhouse gases emission. Finally, the nitrous oxide, which is only 0.5%. I will be focused today on the carbon dioxide as it has the largest percentage of the greenhouse emission. This figure illustrates the breakdown in energy sector activity related to the greenhouse emission in 2016 according to Kiba. Emission from electricity and desalinated water production are primarily associated with the combustion, natural gas and oil products, which show the highest share of greenhouse gases, around 57%. Then we have the transport activity, which are based on the use of gasoline and diesel oil. This accounted for about 18% of the total emission. The contribution of upstream and downstream activity in oil and gas industry is about 11% of the total greenhouse emission. Then we have fugitive emission of methane, a gas that has a high global warming potential, accounted for about 8% in the total emission. Other combustion activities around 3%, where manufacturing and construction is the remaining 3%. As Ministry of Water and Electricity, we will be discuss the total CO2 equivalent that's coming from producing energy and desalinated water. So the total CO2 from our power plant last year was around 48 million tons. So we start to analyze the data to understand where this high number of CO2 emission came from. So by analyzing the thermal fuel consumption of both water and electricity, we figure out that 36% of the emission came from burning the fuel, where 37% coming from producing the water. So finally, 30 million tons from the emission are emissions from electricity, and only 18 million tons coming from the water. So let's analyze the data much more. And we can see from 2012 until 2022, we have an increase in the fuel consumption, gross generation, as well as the CO2. However, from the figure on the top, we can notice that the fuel consumption increased up to 38%, while the gross generation increased to 27%. However, the increase in the CO2 wasn't that much, it was only 23%. The main reason for that is because we are switching to use natural gas more than the heavy fuel. So our achievement to reduce the CO2 emission was fuel switching. This referred to switching from high-emitting liquid fuel, such as heavy fuel or diesel, to natural gas. Fuel switching from oil to gas can reduce CO2 emission by 10 to 30%. This strategy is suitable for Kuwait as we own our natural gas. Then we have low sulfur oil refining. This technology referred to the production of low sulfur fuel at Kuwait refineries. The use of low sulfur fuel results in lowering the CO2 emission, which are the indirect greenhouse gas that is included in the National Greenhouse Inventory. We started using the LSO in the zone north, south this year. Then we have renewable energy. We have Shigaya as renewable energy that represents 3 phases: solar, thermal, solar photovoltaic, and wind technology. Shigaya renewable energy start generating capacity in 2030 with a capacity of 70 megawatts, and it should be making up 15 of the total generation capacity by 2035. We have two projects that we are working on. So we have planning to work on the carbon capture and green hydrogen. The main idea of the carbon capture is to separate the CO2 from other gases, then treat it and transport it, and finally storage it to be used in our power station again. Then we have the green hydrogen project. It's an environmental project that uses the sodium hypochlorite to generate green hydrogen that can be used or stored as green ammonia for later use or combine it with the carbon to create green fuel. Let's take a look at the Kuwait Energy Outlook for 2035. Kuwait Energy Outlook is a report that's been done by KISR to outline the expected energy and economic outlook of Kuwait in 2035. By using current data available, as we can see, the increase in using natural gas will be continuous. However, we will still have an increase in total greenhouse emission. The main reason for that is because the total CO2 emission is not only rely on the energy sector, but also there are other sectors that has increased in the emissions, such as transportation and industry. So further research and projects will be done to reduce the CO2. Now we will talk about water production. Water desalination and production. So desalinated water is considered the only reliable option to meet the future water consumption needs in Kuwait. There are three desalination technologies that's being used. The first one is the MSF. The MSF is based on the optimal use of thermal energy from joint operation to produce water. This technology is almost used in all existing power stations, and it has highest emission around 12 million tons. Then we have the MED. The main advantages of this technology is the low energy consumption and low operation cost. It has a slightly lower emission than the MSF, with total emission of 5 million tons. This method is being used in Zor North. Finally, we have the RO. This is the most environmentally friendly method that can be used for water desalination due to the lack of electricity consumption, almost none being used. So we have 3 stations that are using the RO, Shweikh, Zor, and Doha West. So for the future, we are planning to reduce using the MSF and trying to use MED and RO more. So by looking at the outlook again, the MSF is expected to fall to 39%, where the MED is expected to reach up to 48%, with an increase in using this method in 3 power stations: Waseeb Phase 1, Khairan Phase 1, Zor North Phase 1 and 2. Also, we will continue using the RO in Doha West, Zor North, and Khairan. And now Dr. Faisal will talk about demand side management.
Hello again. Thank you, Engineer Fatma and Engineer Rawan. I think my colleague covered most of the presentation, and I will continue with the demand side management. First of all, everyone knows that the global electricity consumption has continued to grow up rapidly at a rate about 3.4%, which is 1.2 higher than the annual growth of energy consumption. This is as a reference from one of the latest paper submitted on 2019. So not covering the supply side is only fine. We should cover also, or we should control also the electricity demand. Thus, Kuwait put a strategic plan to raise the energy efficiency and reduce consumption in line with the Kuwait Vision 2035, so that we divide, there is several initiatives done by Kuwait or cited by Kuwait. We divide them into two types: governmental initiatives and consumer initiatives. We will start firstly with the governmental initiatives, showing them, then we will talk a little about everyone. So the first one is improve the energy efficiency in a new building project. So we did a project to improve the energy efficiency, and every new building will be done in Kuwait, inshallah. The second one, district cooling. The third one, energy conservation. Let us start with the first initiatives, which is improve energy efficiency in a new building. Actually, abroad, for housing welfare in Jabr al-Ahmed, we start with this city, and we will continue with other cities. So this project named as House or Home 2035 and managed by a National Technology Enterprise company. This company managed the project and like put what advantage of this and disadvantage of this, or what we will face if we approve this building. The project aimed to develop and implement a smart eco house with high efficient technologies that lowers the energy consumption in houses. Actually, there are, or in this project, there are more than 25 modern day technologies used in this project that save electricity and water while reducing the carbon footprint. I will not go through them, just I want to show you. We have more than 25 advantage of using these this project. This house this house has 58% reduction in the energy consumption compared with the conventional houses. Also, the solar photovoltaic installed in this project can provide over 90 megawatt hour annually for each house. So this is like one of the advantage or plus for this house or this project. The energy usage is reduced by 34 kilowatt per meters cube when 10 kilowatt is provided from the solar panels, and 107 tons of CO2 will be reduced annually as an advantage of the energy consumption reduction. So this is one profit of using this. Going to the second project, which is district cooling. It's an integrated basic energy system used in cities to reduce the air conditioning loads at peak times. Why we cover this, or why we concentrate on the air conditioning? Because the air conditioning loads constitute 70% of the demand of electricity, especially in Kuwait or in our country, Gulf countries. And the feature of shifting the load is considered one of the most important advantage of the district cooling, which is reflected in reducing pressure on electrical network and reducing the cost of building as a new power plant project. This district cooling system also balances the electrical load by assembling cooling device for a network building and balancing between consumers. And then the future will be used to install these cooling tanks. This also will be turned and achieves financial saving in infrastructure and operating cost. We have many applications or different several applications of this project done in Kuwait. The first one, Sabah Al Salim University City, called Ashdadiya, which is Kuwait University. According to the, this project, this project applied in Kuwait University is one of the largest district cooling in the Middle East. There are 3 central stations applied with a capacity of 107 tons refrigeration tons, including 2 main stations and 1 backup station. Also, there are 2 stations will be added to the for the medical campus with a capacity of 72,000 ton refrigeration to raise the capacity of the district cooling station to be 180,000 ton, to be the largest district cooling station in the Middle East, inshallah. So this is one of the largest projects, inshallah. Started with 108 and will be continued to be 180,000 ton. The second project, which is starting from 1950, it's Ahmadi City project done by KOC. The system has established since 1950 and updated periodically. This capacity of 23,000 cooling ton, and the station feeds a count of building, villas, and Ahmadi hospital. The system also works on a high efficient way in all states of all and modern cooling system. So I think this system combined both old and modern cooling system. The third initiative is energy conservation code. There are several codes done by Kuwait, starting from early time till continuing to R5, then R6 done in 2018, which target to cover 15% of the energy demand. So there will be reduction around 15% from for applying this code. This is from electricity ministry code, and there are also several codes done by the Public Authority for Industry. Applying this code will reduce or will have a significant effects on the demand, because both of them, I think, control around 15 to 20% of the demand at a peak load. Then we will talk about the other part, which is initiatives from the consumer side. Firstly, we cover the governmental side. We can we show you the things from the governmental side, and we will continue now with the consumer side. Starting with the first one, using the smart meters, then incentives for the customer, then rationalization campaigns, then revising the traffic support for industrial and commercial sector and other sectors. I will show you. Starting with the first one, which is using smart meters. A plan was set for several phases. Phase 1, 130,000 electrical meter was installed, and phase 2, 500,000 electrical meter and 200,000 water meter will be, I think, till 2024 will be done or will be put it in all houses. And for all future cities, starting from now, it will be totally built with a smart meter. So firstly, we start with phase 1, we done from it, and we are now within the second phase to cover around 500,000 more electrical meter and 200,000 water meter, and full smart meter will be for the any future cities. This will cover a good side to keep the consumer know what he do, what he consume from electrical side or a water side, so he can control what he have. The second initiative is incentives for consumers. Actually, one language can understand by all of people, which is money is important. So from the law 20 of regarding determining the tariff for electricity units and water, there is a part said encouragements may be arranged to those who contribute of citizen to rationalize consumption of electricity and water. So we can put like encouragement for people who control his consumption from electricity side and from water side. So the ministry used this law as an offer for the people or the consumers in several sectors. So there is a bill discount reach up to 40% for electricity and 50% for water bills. This is maybe like an encouragement for different sectors to reduce their consumption for in electricity and water. And this issues or this part has a significant effect on the electricity demand, which will be reflected also in the greenhouse gases emissions. Also, the third part is the rationalization combines. The rationalization combines have a the electricity consumption. So the ministry start from 2017 did several rationalization campaign, and in some of those there is a reduction found, and the demand reach up to 150 megawatts at the peak time. So one of the old rational, or I think several, not one, reached up to 150 megawatt at the peak time. Also in 2023, this year, we start, or the ministry start, a rationalization campaign titled as a waffer. So this is just to keep people like recognize what they consume from electricity, water, and how it affects the demand, and also the greenhouse. We cover both side, money side and the environmental side. And this campaign targets a wide range of clients. So hope inshallah work good. The fourth one is revising the trough support. From the law 2016, we have I think there is a rule that gives us a range of trough for electricity and so for water. The rule the law shows that the government and commercial starting 25 fills, the apartments 5 fills to 10 fills, and the industrial agriculture 10 fills, and the other sector 20 fills. But the Ministry of Electricity has a decision in 2017 to give or to choose the trough for electricity to be 5%, 5 fills for most of them, except the governmental and the other sectors, as you show. And the same found for water trough. As you see here, we have law on the left side, the law 2016, and the decision done by the Ministry 2017. But because of high demand, and we are continuing to reduce the consumption of electricity and water, in 2023-2024, a revise will be made from the ministry side for the electricity and water trough to choose a higher price from the range, because we have from the law 2016 a range we can choose from it. But when we do when the ministry chose decision 2017, we didn't choose the highest range. So we will revise it inshallah this year to choose a higher price. This to force different sectors to reducing consumption for electricity and water. By the end of the day, inshallah, we are a good guys. If not, we will be soon, inshallah. Thanks for listening, and hope you are interested in our presentation. And if you have any question, you are welcome.
Thank you so very much for all the members from Kuwait team. And if you have any questions, please post your questions on the live Q&A box over here. In the meantime, I apologize that I totally forgot to introduce myself at the beginning of it. It was just some technical issues. Sorry for the late introduction. That's my name is Saeed. I'm a faculty at Georgetown University and also a visiting scholar. And I'm currently working on a book on sustainability transition in the Gulf states. So I just wanted to inform you that the post this one particularly for the presenters for the member states. So we'll be conducting a survey on the environmental performance of the utility sector for the last 1.5 decades, and another survey will be on the transition, like, what is the next pathway for the electricity sector in the Gulf countries. So the presenters will be receiving an email. Also, we'd like to inform that there will be a workshop in October on transition for the Gulf states. So this will be an on-site physical workshop. Most likely it will be happening in Doha. So I'd just like to inform you, and we will give you more details about this at the end of the session. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, or like we can just have a session later on for a Q&A. In the meantime, like I will just, if there are no questions coming in, I will move on to the delegates from Oman. So they're next in the line, so they will have time to talk about it. May I ask, like, the Oman team to share, to go on live, and so that I can allow them to put them live there. Ahmed, Mr. Ahmed is there? Yes.
Yeah. I am with you.
All right, great. So when you are ready, let me know so we can just make you live there. In the meantime, if you have any questions for any of our presentations, please post your questions there. We'll make sure to answer them. Yeah. So we're just getting the presentations there. Once the presenter is ready, we will let him present. Yes. We apologize. We're just figuring out the presentation. All right. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, good morning to everybody. Do you see our screen?
Yes, we can see you the screen, and we can hear you as well.
Okay, excellent. My name is Rashid Bidwawi. I'm from OETC. I have my colleagues here. Okay, what a coincidence. Okay, so we'll take you through our presentation. Please feel. So, okay, so the presentation content is, as you can see in the screen, will give you a very high level introduction about Oman Electricity Transmission Company. We'll go through our ETC environmental management system. We'll capture a couple of items there, as you can see in the slide. We'll have something about the greenhouse gas emissions and reduction. We'll end up with the energy efficiency and environmental responsibility. Of course, those 2 or 3 items, they are interlinked together, and sometimes you cannot really, you might have a couple of items here and there presenting separate topics. Yeah. So just to start with the OETC, to give you a flavor about our vision mission. So our vision is to be a world-class smart transmission grid by 2030. Our mission is to transmit and dispatch electricity safely, reliably, securely, and economically. Values, respect, integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. Our business model, by the end of the day, we are a close joint stock company. We are regulated by the Authority for Public Services here, APSA. In terms of the network itself, we are operating at 3 different voltage levels. I don't know how clear is the math, but it might be difficult to say. But anyhow, we have 132, 220, and 400 kV system. We are interconnected with the transmission system of GCC Cigre through UAE, 220, and currently, of course, there is a project at early direct 400 kV. Around 7,756 kilometers of power lines at the end of 2022 with more than 107 grid stations. So OETC as a company, of course, after the 2005, we become the sole operator for the transmission network, where we are responsible for transmission and the dispatch, the main interconnected system of the Dhofar region, which we took over in terms of the Dhofar region in 2014, and recently, in fact, we took over as well or acquired the transmission network of the northern part in Sandam and Al-Wasta. So we are, as said, responsible for the transmission and dispatch, and we have 4 years price control from the Authority for Public Services Regulation, APSA, where our recent one start from 2023 and it will go up to 2026. In terms of ownership, I mean, of course, we have NAMA, it's our main shareholder with 51%, representing the government of Oman through the Oman Investment Authority. And we have a partner from, or shareholder from China, which is SGID with 49%. SGID is the international development arm of the state grid, the biggest utility company. In terms of the credit rating, we have the recent credit rating, as you can see from Moody's, BB plus positive and stable, respectively. In terms of certification with the ISO certification, in fact, OETC has recently four ISO certificates which been certified, of course, for OETC. So we have ISO 14001 for the environmental management system, 501 for the health, safety and management system. We have 55001 for the asset management, 701 for the information security management system. And now we have additional 2 for business continuity management system and quality management system, ISO 9001. So the idea is to have one single IMS, we call it integrated management system, covers all of this. So the last one we had is the ISO 22301. Yeah, I think I will leave it now to Ahmed to take you through the environmental management system. As I said, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I am Ahmed, environmental specialist for Oman Electricity Transmission Company. Inshallah, I will continue what Dr. Rashid started, and I will give a brief summary about our environmental management system, how we run it, and then I will move to greenhouse gas emissions and protection, and finally we will move to energy efficiency and what we do in this field. So starting with the environmental management system of our company, OATC is committed to protect our environment and preventing pollution and working to reduce negative environmental impact that resulted from its activity, I mean construction as well as operational activities. And we demonstrated this commitment through many steps or through many items. And most important and the most important things is that we are compliant with all applicable Omani and international environmental laws, regulations, standards, and guidelines. Also, OTC established and developed guidelines and procedures that cover all the environmental field area and identifying and registering all significant environmental aspect impact. And we try to optimum use for our natural resource and eliminate waste generation from the source and trying to minimize it as possible as we can. And finally, trying or working to reduce our GHG emission and also contribute to our Oman plan for achieving net zero emission by 2025. And also I will give summary about this plan in coming slides. So as I mentioned at the beginning, our company is committed to respond to or to comply with all applicable environmental standards that working here at Oman or the international standards. So to do the same, we established a register. This register have or continue or have all the applicable environmental regulation, laws, standards that applicable to our activities. And also we are in continuously follow up with the relevant governmental authorities such as Environment Authority, Ministry of Legal Affairs, and our target from this follow up with them to be in line with their update or in case they issue any new regulations. So as I am sure everyone know here that capturing environmental aspect and impact for any project will support and will help to manage and control the negative impact from any proposed project. So at OETC, we're trying to manage our environmental aspect proactively and identify all the environmental aspect and impact and give our priorities to manage and control the negative impact. So how we do that? During the design stage for any new project or any new proposed project, an environmental impact study will be prepared, and this study will cover all the proposed aspects and impact that might be a result from the proposed project. And also, this study will have an environmental management plan. This management plan will be implemented during the construction phase of the project as during the operational phase of the project or the facility after commissioning it. Also, prior to do any activity or any activity operational state, the activity itself will be subject to evaluate and assess to capture all the environmental impact and measures will be in place and implemented prior to commence any activity. So how we monitor and evaluate our environmental performance, as Dr. Rashid mentioned, already certified, and we have ISO 14001. So we use these guidelines or this ISO as a reference for us to establish our procedure to evaluate and monitoring our environmental performance. So the concept of environmental performance monitoring and evaluation is in place and already developed by OETC. So almost more than 30 environmental indicators were identified and reported in monthly basis. These indicators is facilitated or help us to facilitate and to continue improvement of our management of our environmental management. This concept is applied for our construction site as well as for our operational activity. So we are trying to capture all the environmental aspects generated or resulted from our activity. So moving to greenhouse gas emission and air pollution emission and how we are working to reduce it and how we are contributing to reduce it as in a national level. Before presenting this, I will give a brief summary about Oman National Net Zero Plan. So in October 2022, and under the leadership of His Majesty Sultan Haytham, Oman about its net zero emission target, and this target is set to be in 2050. So there are four main pillars for achieving net zero emission by 2050. One of the main pillars of this plan is energy sector. Again, energy sector divided in two sub-pillars. First sub-pillars is oil and gas sub-pillars, and second one is electricity sub-pillars. So what I will mention it here, or what we will discuss it here, is only what is related to electricity sub-pillars, and what we are working to for it only. What others do, we will not capture it in our presentation. So as per this plan, the key electricity project and initiative for achieving net zero emission are sustainable renewable energy project, electrical interconnection project, waste to energy project, biofuels energy project, and efficiency of generation, transmission, and distribution project. So what OETC rule or how it can contribute for achieving net zero emission for our country, inshallah, I will explain it in next slides, and I will give real examples from our current projects. So starting with the North-South Interconnector project, and this project we call it RABT project, and RABT means connection. So RABT project is one of the main or the key strategic project implemented by OETC, and this project divided in two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. The phase 1 of RABT project is aims to connect the main interconnected system with petroleum development, Oman electricity transmission network, and Tanween network in Al Wusta area, and this phase will area. Phase 1 will consist from more than 650 kilometers of 400 kilovolt overhead line and almost 5 grid station. Currently, this project is in pre-commissioning and we expect it to be in service by end of this year, inshallah. So phase 2 of RABT project will run from Dokum area further south to connect with the existing system Bar area, and this phase will support integration area between Dokum and Bar. And just to highlight one point, this area now currently, or the electricity in this area is generated by using diesel generator. So after completing this project, we will replace the using of the diesel resource, and the electricity will be sourced from our public or from our grid. RABT project phase 2 will consist from 3 grid station, 400 kilovolt grid station, and 400 kilovolt overhead line. And this project and this phase is still under tendering stage, and we expect it to be by the end of 2026. So what is the benefit, or what is the strategy environmental objective of RAFT project? As I mentioned before, the area that will be covered by our RAFT project is get their energy or electricity from burning of the diesel fuel and diesel fuel. So after energized or commissioning this project, we will replace the diesel. The electricity will be generated or will be sourced from our grid. So the RAFT project is expected to play a great role in conserving our environment, achieving Oman net zero target by 2050, and also project will be in line with Omani government's drive to switch to renewable energy and green hydrogen. Also, this area is considered as the most important area for renewable or for future investment renewable energy and green hydrogen. So after connecting this area with our grid, we will facilitate the potential connection with large-scale green hydrogen project, especially in Wusta and Dubai governments or area. Also, after energize this project, as I mentioned many times, we will stop use, which will lead to reduce greenhouse gases and air pollution emission generated from electricity. So our design team do a simple estimation to see how much we can reduce and how much we can save of diesel. So phase one will reduce more than 165,000 tons of CO2 and will save more than of diesel. And the phase two will reduce more than 33,000 tons of CO2 and will save more than 12 million liters of diesel. So we have two benefits from this project, or we can say two benefits. One benefit is we will reduce the GHG emission and air pollution emission due to using of diesel generator, and as well as we will save the natural resource by saving fuel. Moving to economic dispatch, the economic dispatch is part of our license, and always OETC is committed to dispatch the most efficient generation units connected to the network, which are consume lowest gas and have lowest CO2 emission. Also, our company gives a priority for dispatching the generation unit that generated from solar and power plants. Just in 2022, we almost saved more than or approximately 4% of GHG emission that emitted by power generation plant, and this was as a result of dispatching the generation unit that generated from solar and wind power plants. Element of sulfur hexafluoride about SF6 and the use. SF6 is an inorganic, colorless, odorless, and non-gas, and this gas is used as the voltage electrical equipment and powerful greenhouse gas. So our company gives priority and pay great attention to eliminate any leakage from SF6, and to do the same are monitored by online condition monitoring system and SCADA system. These systems will issue an alert in case any leakage happen in our GIS. So immediately the concerned team will be notified, and the concerned team also will deal with this alert, and they will do the needful to eliminate any leakage if there is any leak. Also, OATC established a comprehensive guidelines on SF6 reporting, safe transportation, storage, handling, and all this is only to save our environment from the negative impact of the SF6. Now I will give a brief summary about how we manage our fuel consumption that's used in transportation activities. So in 2019, our company launched a project to reduce fuel consumption in our transportation activity. The key aims or key objective of this project is to reduce the consumption of fuel and other GHG emission that generated or emitted by our transportation activities. So many actions have been taken, and the action was to reduce our vehicle fleets number, and almost more than 100 vehicles were excluded from our operational and excluded from our fleet between 2019 to 2022. And we get a good result after implementing this project, and almost we reduced 40% of fuel in 2022 comparing to the total consumption. And as a result, the quantity of GHG emission from transportation activity is reduced also by almost 40%. Now we will move to last point, which is about energy efficiency and environmental responsibility. So OATC works to reduce its consumption of electricity by monitoring and controlling the electricity at its office grid station as well as construction site. So there are many initiatives were applied to minimize the electricity consumption, replacement of conventional light, installation of motion sensor lighting system at our grid station, and optimize ventilation, air conditioning, and lighting power at all our office and grid station. And finally, by increasing the awareness level with our staff and contractor by conducting many awareness sessions and workshops. All these efforts give us a good result, and we're able to reduce the electricity consumption by almost 2% in 2022 consumption. Also at construction site, we encourage our construction contractor to implement all these initiatives as well as installation of camp at our construction site is using solar panel to get or to generate energy to be used in the camp office or in the camp area. Moving to corporate social responsibility, and here I will focus on our environmental responsibility. So OATC has taken a significant step in implementing environmental part of its corporate social. So we are working with other local communities to organize and to implement many environmental initiatives. And this initiative is almost cover renewable energy, area plantation and cleaning campaign, and environmental awarenesses and education. Regarding the renewable energy initiative, we support many local communities by installation solar panels to get their required energy for lighting, for example, the tourism places in their area, and implantation and cleaning campaign. We also organize by ourselves many campaigns and also participate with the governmental campaigns regarding environmental awarenesses and education. We believe that the raising of environmental awarenesses will support and will help our environment. So we are targeting our staff, family, or kids, and we try to organize many workshops for them. And also we target school students, and we give and conduct many awareness sessions at schools just to increase their awareness level on our environment and the importance of our environment and how we can protect our environment. So this is all from my side. So if there is any question, we are welcome to address this question.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed and the team. Really appreciate for your comprehensive presentation. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to post your questions on the Q&A box. And so I just wanted to ask, like in the meantime, if you get any questions, you mentioned about the energy efficiency. I read in one of the reports that the NAMA has worked quite significantly in terms of reducing or improving fuel efficiency of the gas turbines and everything. So the overall fuel consumption in the power plants has improved quite significantly. I'm not sure if you have, I mean, like you're presenting from a transmission aspect, but if you have a knowledge, can you talk about like, the developments from that front?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, as you clearly mentioned, we are representing the transmission company, but as part of our scorecards, we try to monitor the gas consumption itself. That one in coordination with the generation planning, in this case, Oman Power and Water Procurement Company, to go for the most economic dispatch. And by doing that one, of course, by the end of the day, try to dispatch the most economic units. And by doing that one, you will idea is to aim to reduce the consumption by itself, and by doing that one, you will reduce, of course, the emission of CO2. In terms of even if we can go slightly outside the sector itself, of course, initiatives to do with the environment itself, which by other entities, but as far as I know, I think there was a project for reducing flaring from the different entities, and of course, CO2 emission and other GHG gases as well.
All right. Thank you. I understand. Okay. Thank you very much for your response and also the presentation. And now I will ask the team from UAE to share their views and their country's perspectives and how they managed to and what they are planning to do with that one. Ms. Noel, I will just allow you to. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Can you see the screen as well?
Yes, I'm just trying to.
I'll share from my side.
No, it's fine if you can see the screen.
No, I added a few slides, so it's
okay.
I'll share from my
All right. All right.
It's fine. Okay. If it is okay.
Yes, please. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. So hi everyone. My name is Nawal Hanai. I'm the Director of Future Energy Department in the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure from United Arab Emirates. I would like to thank my colleague. It was a very informative presentation so far, and I hope to convey the same message for the country itself. So when it's come to energy transition, I want to shed light the journey of UAE when it's come to the energy transition. So as everyone knows, we started our journey when the first discovery of the oil, which was in 1958. And then we have different exploration and operation of different source of energy, and we start diversifying our energy sources when we start operating our first solar power plant in 2013. And then we have also in mind that the UAE have put a vision towards 2021 previously, and we have achieved all the national targets within this agenda for the country and the vision by 2021. This was launched in 2014, and the purpose of this to be the best country in the globe. In 2016, we have the first operation of CCUS plant, Riyadh plant, which is the first commercial plant in the MENA region, as well as one of the global project when it comes to carbon capture, storage, and utilization. And then in 2017, UAE has launched its first unified energy strategy, and with the ambition to achieve 50% from clean energy, 50% from fossil fuel to achieve it by 2050. Now I'll give you the glimpse about our update and first vision of this strategy, inshallah. And also we have blessed with our leadership where they have a visionary and a future foresight, where they have set a decision to have a Baraka plan, which have 4 reactors. Currently we have 3 operational reactors, and the fourth reactor is currently under the licensing process, where we also diversify our energy sources in the country to make sure that we have a reliable, sustainable, clean sources by the time that we already have the 4 reactors operated approximately by 25% from the needs of the country itself. In 2021, we have already launched the leadership roadmap when it's come to hydrogen. We launched it in COP26 at Glasgow. It was one of the milestones that the country seek that and perceive that hydrogen is the future fuel for the country and for the globe. And we already are now currently, as shown in the milestones line, that we are currently working on our national hydrogen strategy, where we anticipate to launch it hopefully after August. We are updating our energy strategy with Irina and Khalifa University. The country already set the place that the country will achieve net zero targets by 2050. And we have launched the strategic initiative back then, 2021. And also last year, we have also launched our national pathway when it comes to net zero. And this year, inshallah, we will launch the strategy for net zero 2050, that all the stakeholders involved in it and play a significant role to craft it and to establish this strategy. All of this to achieve 2071 vision for the UAE, which is to be the top and the best country worldwide. Now I will give you a glimpse about our strategic initiative when it's come to net zero to achieve it by 2050. So basically, the country set these targets, and it placed itself and positioned itself the first country in the MENA region to have such ambition, and followed by a different country from GCC countries and Arab countries as well. So always UAE has it was the first to ratify the Paris Agreement in the MENA region. We have a lot of milestones when it comes to climate change and initiatives to support their environments. So basically, this is a glimpse about the strategic initiative, where it's focused on the 4 pillars if you can see in environment, transportation, energy, and industry. So basically, our ministry, which is Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, is responsible on two pillars, which is transportation and energy, which falls under our mandates. And we have three bodies, main bodies, as we said, as stated here. We have the Ministry of Environment playing a significant role when it's come to built up environment and agriculture, waste, as well as the Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology when it's come to industry and technology as well. We have set these 4 priorities, a different 11 integrated work program, and more than 40 stakeholders was involved to craft this strategy. This is the previous 2020-50 energy strategy for the country. So previously, when we launched the strategy for energy, this is only for the power and electricity and water sector. So previously, we have set a target to achieve 50% from clean energy by 2050, which is, this is the breakdown, the 44% from renewable energy, 38% from gas. Previously, we aimed to have 12% from clean coal. Now it is already removed from the new updated strategy, and we have 6% nuclear share from nuclear energy. Currently, in the updated strategy, which we are working on, and hopefully we can launch it by the end of July, we are removing the coal percentage. We are revising the percentage of carbon reduction to 100% to achieve the net zero targets. We are increasing the energy efficiency, and we will come in depth in detail about the demand side management program. And we are revising the percentage of clean coal as well. And this is a glimpse about the project that we are doing in the clean energy aspect. We have different slides. Later on, I will present for the hydrogen project. So this is only for renewable, wind, waste to energy project, nuclear, and so forth. So this is a glimpse, and everyone aware that already UAE have break the records when it comes to the project, which set a world record for lowest levelized cost of electricity at 1.35 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'll give you now a glimpse, or I will shed light on the national program for the site demand management for water and electricity. So in a glimpse, in 2021, we launched the national DSM program for the country. The main area or pillars was agriculture, built up environment, industry, and transportation. We have a national committee that is led by our ministry, our undersecretary. And the 4 pillars are led by different undersecretary to make sure that everyone plays his role in his mandate. And also, they have approved the recommendation and program. I will, inshallah, shed light on them. But the main purpose of the National Demand Management Program was to achieve the percentage that was dedicated from the National Energy Strategy, where we are revising the 40% currently, and the 50% as well, and also to achieve our national strategy when it comes to water security strategy 2036. This strategy also this year we are refreshing the strategy, and hopefully we can launch the outcome at the end of this year or probably the early next year, inshallah. From the DSM program targets, we are anticipating to have 90% reduction from municipal demand for water and 18% reduction for water in agriculture demand, and under 20% unaccounted from water. And the basic aim of the strategy is to ensure the sustainable water supply in various circumstances to meet the need of the community and economic prosperity in the UAE. This was already announced by the minister himself. This is a glimpse about what sort of meeting we have with the steering committee and so forth, and the outcome. And also, this is the stakeholders involved within the different aspects of the national DSM program and the interaction with the implementation from different utility perspective, as well as the private companies. We have set the different principal guidelines and so forth. I will not go in detail. However, this captured and incorporated ongoing efforts in the country. We have also the national DSM program. We have also for the individual emirates have their own local demand side management program, and we are working in alignment and aligning all the efforts to make sure that all the effort is represented and captured within the effort of the DSM programs. This is a glimpse about the 4 pillars that was mentioned earlier, with the targets that it's anticipated to be achieved. As said, this will be revised to make sure that we are achieving the net zero by 2050. This was launched in 2021. However, for the agriculture, for instance, we are anticipating 60% reduction. In the built-up environment, we are anticipating 40% from water and electricity, 51%. In the industry, we are anticipating 33%, and from transportation, 6%. This will be all revised to make sure that it's aligned with the national strategies for each pillar. To give you a glimpse about the program that was considered, this is only a glimpse. We have a detailed plan for this one, and we will be more than happy to share our experience later on. So when it comes to agriculture, we have the water food nexus with a target of achieving 77%. We have the use or achieved, sorry, this is achieved by blue and the target by red. Use to purpose water, we achieved 5%. Enhance water and crops productivity, we already achieved 3%. And the monitor consumption and study for ground water pricing, we achieved from those studies are 50%. Sustainable ground management is 0%. When it's come to build up environment, we have launched a building green code guideline last year, and it is voluntary the first 2 years, and after that it will be compulsory for the new buildings, for the federal buildings. We are doing a retrofit project for all the federal buildings. We are targeting currently the first phase 400 something out of 300 buildings, where we are anticipating to retrofit all those buildings and to save the water and electricity, and also to achieve a reduction in the GHG emission by 2050. We have the efficient cooling, we have renewable energy target. Those energy targets is only for the built-up environment. We have a bigger ambition within the national energy strategy, which is refreshed now, and the new targets will be inshallah announced as stated by the end of July. We have also a program for the agreement standard, efficient irrigation, tariff schemes, facility management, and non-revenue water. And also we have the program for the top 50 emitters industry. We are working with them, targeting reduction of 32%, and electrical motors. We have also launched an electric EV roadmap last month, and also we are working on EV infrastructure in the country, and to increase the share of the electrical vehicles for 2030 and 2050. We have also the public transportation, free transportation, and the fuel standards as well. So this is the overall glimpse about the DSM. There is a lot of details. However, all these details will be revisited. As stated, to achieve more than 40% now we are targeting. So we will update those slides and we will share it with you, inshallah. So, and this is very important for us. We have established the executive committee for the national energy KPIs. Within that, we have the DSM steering committee. After that, we have some sort of ATMA program with collective data, where we collect all the data and it is reflected in the dashboard for DSM program. We have a dashboard where it shows all the carbon reduction, how much renewable energy was implemented or deployed, what is the saving in dirhams, and so forth. So all those KPIs is well presented for the leadership to make sure that we are achieving our targets. When it comes to hydrogen, we already has set this or launched the leadership roadmap in 2021. Our aim was UAE is a global leader in low carbon hydrogen and home to the robust and vibrant low carbon hydrogen ecosystem. We have set 3 objectives at that time, where we anticipate that we have put in place generate new sources of value for UAE through low carbon hydrogen and derivatives export, provide low carbon hydrogen and derivatives industry opportunity in UAE, as well as to make sure that we enable the UAE net zero by 2050 strategic initiative, especially in the hard to abate sectors. And we have identified 5 levers to make sure that we achieve those targets. We are revising all this, and we already have put in place. This is the glimpse about the hydrogen CCUS initiative. We are in the country, and this is only for quarter 4 2022. We are capturing all the projects in different platforms and a monitor tool for the hydrogen. And we are refreshing this as stated within the National Hydrogen Strategy. Inshallah, that will be launched soon, inshallah. And also to make sure that UAE achieve one of the top 10 hydrogen production in the world. Keep in mind that we are targeting low carbon hydrogen. We are lineless when it comes to colors. So we are targeting green, blue, pink, and so forth. We are relying on hydrogen as stated to achieve our national net zero strategic initiative. Those are some of the specific application and targeted sectors that put in the domestic area. For the country, we are identifying oil refinery and ammonia, industry, heat and steel, power storage, heavy road transportation, shipping industry, maritime, transport, as well as aviation. Those are the focus area for us to make sure that those hard to abate sectors are covered and make sure that production with hydrogen goes for them first and then for the export opportunity. This is a glimpse about the leadership roadmap and the estimated market timeline for the market materialization from 2021 till 2040, and the priority segments for the exporting opportunity as well as the domestic use, where we have already in place targeting some of the hydrogen valleys and so forth to make sure that we have the correct ecosystem in the country itself. This is a glimpse about our renewable capacity investment in UAE. We have till 2022. This is the operational installed capacity for renewable energy, and we are targeting 14 gigawatt for the 2030. For the share by percentage, it is almost 8% from the operational renewable energy project installed capacity for project in 2022, and we are anticipating or predicting to have 20% by 2030. This is, we will revise those numbers as speaking under the energy strategy revision. We almost have invested already in the country more than 40 billion dirham, and we are willing to invest more than 163 billion dollar. Sorry, for $40 billion, not that. This is our global investment with our champion master in the globe itself. But this is the project that is already deployed by master company. They are already invested 50 billion in 40 countries, and they are anticipating within the 10 coming years to invest the same amount, where we are doubling it. It is 50 billion. So they are anticipating 100 billion, 100 gigawatt in 70 countries by 2035. So this is the game, and this is the capacity and some glimpse about the numbers and the achievement by Master Global. Not all of those projects are commercial. Some of them are humanitarian to support the vulnerable communities to make sure that they have the access of renewable energy. This is some of glimpse about our competitiveness indicators in the energy sector. We've achieved almost the first in many of the KPIs, such as ease of establishment, electricity connection, access of electricity. We have the ranking the first when it comes to the use of clean fuel and technology for cooking and so forth. Also, recently, the published report for the MIT Technology Review site in the Green Future Index, UAE ranked second in the energy transition pillar, where last year we was ranking 10th, so we jumped eight position with a score of 5.3. This considering the renewable energy production and so forth. This is some glimpse about our international partnership. We think that definitely we should have our energy security strategy in place. However, the international collaboration is a key and key enabler for us to make sure that we as usual are a reliable global energy supplier for the world. We had set an objective for our international partnership, where we aim to accelerate the development of the global energy and specifically in hydrogen as well economy, especially in the certification regulation, and to align in the policy aspect as well, but to make sure that we are meeting the international guidelines and specifications as well. We already put in place accelerating the development of the global clean energy and hydrogen economy network, such as infrastructure, value chain, supply chain as well. Support the global energy diversification and decarbonization ambition. Sharing knowledge and knowledge transfer and joint R&D to help addressing the bottlenecks and challenges in the energy transition aspect. Support the private sector stakeholders partnerships, strategic initiative, offtake agreements, and joint projects with our champion and our counterparts, and import opportunities and develop the technology to enable the commercialization. Those are some of the country agreement. We have a lot, but this is specifically the active memorandum of understanding between those countries. As well as UAE, also we as a ministry are representing the country in several multilateral organizations such as SEM, the Clean Energy Ministerial, IPHE, which is the International Partnership Hydrogen Economy in Fuel Cell, IRENA, Mission Innovation, WEC, and so forth. So, and thank you everyone. I think this is it from my side. If there's any question, I'll be more than happy to take it.
Thank you, Ms. Nawal. That's quite impressive. Quite a lot of things and very difficult to kind of digest everything that you have said in that time. And definitely kudos to your team for working quite hard on the energy transition. And it's quite interesting to see that, like, you have risen up to the pillar from number 10 to number 2. That's quite a feat to achieve in a very short time. Congratulations. If anyone has any questions to Ms. Nawal and also to the previous team members, please feel free to ask. We have 15 minutes before we go for a break, for prayer and for coffee break. So we will resume again at 12 o'clock, and then we'll have representatives from Qatar. We'll talk about it. Unfortunately, Saudi Arabia couldn't able to make it for unforeseen reasons. So we will have one presentation, and then we'll have a short discussion about energy transition, the future workshop that we plan to host. So in the meantime, if you have any questions to any of our members, please post your questions here. I would ask on behalf of you, and we'll take answers from our team members. In the meantime, I just wanted to ask Ms. Nawal about the R&D that you mentioned. I know that you have been investing quite heavily on hydrogen. How much emphasis that you have, that's already been in place for R&D in UAE institutions, particularly with ADNOC, and the Riyadh steel plant has been already in operation. So how do you kind of share your experience, and how do you think of scaling it up, because it's an important initiative for other members in the Gulf countries to know for that? Yeah.
So for the R&D, we already, as a country, last year established something called Emirates R&D Council, and this is chaired by His Highness Sheikh Abdullah. and ministers as a committee members in this council. Within this council, we already put in place our strategic priorities such as hydrogen, storage in place as well, and different technologies, energy storage, CCS, and DAC, for instance, direct air capture, and a different type of technology that we are trying to focus on and need support from the country as well as our partners when it comes to private sector. So this is something I cannot give you any update on it till we launch our hydrogen strategy, which is coming soon. So stay tuned, and we will share definitely the answers regarding the investment and so forth in the hydrogen specifically.
Okay, I wanted to hold on to that one because in the demand side management, you mentioned about cooling. I know like UAE is quite big on district cooling, particularly like Dubai and Abu Dhabi with the Breathe and Empower. Can you share more about like how much district cooling has been contributing to the demand side management? Because our members from Kuwait who talked about the district cooling playing a significant role. So I'm just curious about like, how much a role that it has played so far, because the district cooling has been started in early 2000 by Breathe. So you have expanded the facility. So how do you see that like it's going to play in the future and what role it has played so far?
So regarding district cooling, it was specifically focused on specific Emirates. Now within our national DSM program, we are trying to measure or expand this district cooling in different areas as well with different utilities and different one. So in the national level, we still are calculating the target or the achievement when it's come to district cooling. But let me go back to my slides. Let me check because this is dealt by different also department, not my department. My department is Future Energy Department. We have demand side management department. But within our targets, we are targeting 10% reduction from this technology. So this is the target, national target. So hopefully we achieve it, inshallah, and we'll keep you updated as well when it's come. However, we have now currently establishing a study to make sure that we cover most of the big development areas.
All right. Okay, great. So we have one question coming in. Is there a specific target in UAE and Kuwait regarding percentage of EV in the next coming years? Are there any rules and regulations set by the government in order to support this transition? Nawal, you can just start with that, and then I will ask the Kuwaiti members to respond to it after that. Yes.
For the EV targets, yes, we have already developing a policy for the EV. I think, if I'm not mistaken, because we have a national level target and also an Emirates specific targets. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have 30% until by 2030 to achieve this target for the country. However, let me come back to you with this one because there is an Emirate and there is a national. So let me come back to you. But for Dubai, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, 10%.
All right. Okay. Can I ask the members from the Kuwait team to share it? We're just waiting for the Kuwait team to plug in again with the system. Could you please hold on for some time? Dr. Faisal, could you be able to join in? All right. Okay. It seems he has, okay. It appears he has some difficulty joining in. We couldn't able to connect with him, though he's trying, but we can't able to hear him. So we'll make sure to ask the questions and get back to you once we restart the conversation. So we will take a break for 1 hour. So we will join again at 12 o'clock, and then we will have members from Qatar, and as well as we will have a small kind of discussion with all the panel members after Qatari team members discussion, and we will give you a break for a good 1 hour. Please take a time for stretching yourself and have a coffee, and then we'll resume at 12 o'clock. Thank you. So we're going to start the presentation. We just wanted to keep you keep the conversation going. I just wanted to see if my colleagues from UAE, Kuwait, and all of them are there. And so we have some questions from the past. So I just wanted to ask them if all of them are here, please feel free to, yes, it's, we will be sending you a presentation as well, because we have seen a lot of the attendees are from power sector. So there's one particular survey which is related to general experts, and the other survey that we're going to discuss is only for the people who are working in the power sector in terms of running an operating a plant. And the second survey is primarily related to the transition itself, and so that will be kind of focus on what you think of the Gulf countries will face in terms of the challenges, different types of risks, and the opportunities that it has in terms of the transition. And the survey link will be sent out to you as well, for the fellow participants, and it will be good to have your perspectives, and the results will be shared during the COP summit, and the other survey is mostly for the utility providers, where we hope to get good responses, and we will see how the past developments will shape the future of the Gulf utility sector. If anyone is interested to participate in that one, please feel free to write back to me. You have my email address in that one. If I just want to see if Sana are you there? If any of our colleagues from Kuwait and UAE is still there, so that we can have some questions on electric vehicles, and if you can just kind of log in back again, it would be helpful.
Yes, now we can access the mic. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yes. All right. So if you can turn on the video so we can able to present, or if you have anything, we can just start the Q&A. Sana, are you from Kuwait, I believe, right?
Yes, I am from Kuwait.
Yeah. So we have a question on. I'm not sure if you want to answer the question over here.
Yes.
So we have this question particularly on the Kuwait. We tried to kind of restart to ask earlier. Ms. Nawal responded from UAE perspective, and so we wanted to. There's a question on is there a specific target in Kuwait regarding percentage of EV electric vehicles in the next coming years? Are there any rules and regulations set by the government?
For electric vehicles, now only the rules we have that we are all the new housing cities, the smart city is equipped with the charging for electrical vehicle. However, we don't, and we have also a committee for putting new codes for these vehicles. But still now we don't have anything published or official. But we are under studying it, a committee studying, and they are targeting to come out with these codes, maybe with a couple, maybe they're 1 year or more. I'm not sure.
Okay. There's a question particularly in terms of heavy fuel oil for Kuwait, because I saw in the 2025 energy strategy. So do you think the heavy fuel oil will continue to remain as an important energy mix, or is it planned to kind of phase out eventually because it has high carbon intensity compared to natural gas? So what's the kind of plan? How you kind of managing the expectations to reduce emissions and at the same time with high carbon intensity fuel?
Yes, regarding heavy fuel oil, currently in this year we are talking about low sulfur fuel oil. We are not talking anymore the heavy fuel oil. By end of this quarter of 2023, we'll make sure that all our we convert to low sulfur. However, still the carbon footprint for the low sulfur is high compared to gas. We are targeting to shift to 30-70, which means that only 30% in our conventional steam turbine to have liquid, low sulfur, and the 70 is gas. However, in the other part, the combined cycle, we are firing now 100% gas turbine, gas. So our future share of liquid fuel is very, it's expected to be reduced highly in the future.
All right. Okay.
Targeting both the conventional unit, which is already using the liquid fuel, while all our gas turbines 100% currently gas. And as you know, in Kuwait we have a big infrastructure for LNG. We call it LNGI, and this has given us a possibility that we have firing 100% gas and gas turbine, and we are aiming to 70% in conventional steam turbine.
Okay, okay. Mariam from Kahama, I believe. So please let us know when you're ready to present. So if your team members are there, so we just wanted to kind of kickstart the presentation in 5 minutes time. Shamshad, Mariam, yeah.
I cannot see who is online. Can you see Shamshad, Mohammed al-Sharshani, and Mariam?
I can see my. Yeah, Shamshad, I wasn't able to activate it. Yes.
Yeah, hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Alaikum salam. Yes. Yes, we wanted to make sure if you can hear us and see us. So we can start the presentation in 3 minutes so that we'll have a presentation. Yeah, we'll have a presentation. Yes. We'll have a presentation start in 3 minutes time. If you have one presentation from Kahama, that would be nice. So that's like, anyone who's speaking, we can just turn it on for them to speak. All right.
It's not like that, at least for me. Actually, everybody from Karama was busy in the planning forum, as you know that. Dr. Dalia sent the email. So we just came, we cannot coordinate to each other. But presently, I have one presentation, and maybe Mariam would have.
All right.
To present. And just that's it. If you, as you give me green signal, inshallah.
Okay, great. So we can start in 2 more minutes. Do you have a presentation? If you want to share the screen, like we just wanted to check if it works. Yeah.
It's okay. You can.
Yeah, I can see the screen. Yes, I can see the screen. So the first will be your presentation, or are we going to see from other members?
According to this serial numbers, we send the email.
Okay.
First one is mine.
Okay. All right. That's great. Okay. So All right, so we can just go ahead, Mr. Shamshad. You can just go ahead and present it. Yes.
Okay. This is Dr. Shamshad from Kahramat Rashid. Mainly, my presentation will be focusing on what is the output of the sheet program and some other initiative in terms of saving of electricity, water, and CO2 emission.
Sorry, can we just ask you to go to the display settings and put the whole presentation mode so that we can see the whole one?
Okay, let me close this one. Is it okay now?
No, you just need to go here on the top on the display settings. Can you click on the display settings on the very top?
Okay,
Yeah.
display.
And yes, swap presenter view and slide view.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, now we can see it. Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay, first off, I focus about our department in Kahrama. As you mentioned about the supply and this output in terms of saving. First of all, I'll just take to you to the Tarshid journey of 10 years. What was the situation before Tarshid? There was no proper guidelines about energy conservation. There's no awareness about the energy and water conservation, CO2 emission, environmental aspects as well. There was no proper regulation of plumbing systems from the construction end. There was no proper regulation for installation of other energy conversion devices in the houses, and there was no control over wastage of water and electricity at the end users. Lack of awareness about communication and all. And one of the biggest challenge was household per capita consumption of household in the state of Qatar among GCCs was one of the highest. So this was the situation before Tarshid initiative. And what happened? And 2011 October, Tarshid was before Tarshid, the conservation department was announced with the Amiri degree 42 in 2011. And after this announcement of conservation department under Kahrama, and same moment in 2012, I'm not wrong, in the November 26 to December 7, Doha hosted the climate change conference, COP18. And outcome was that the sheet program was launched on April 12, 2012. And the sheet program is directly under patronage of Zionist Amir of Qatar. So in the first phase of, we have divided our whole Tarshid journey into two parts. First phase was we work as a regulator. We set the milestone, standard, and regulation. I'll not go in detail because there's so many presentations here. We have only 1 hour. So in that scenario, in the first phase, we set the regulatory portion and we set the standard how to implement energy conservation measure. We divided it into 4 parts: technology, legal, awareness, and renewable part. Mainly, we will focus to the technology, legal, and awareness. Renewable section has moved to the different department, but technical aspects, we set the regulation for energy efficiency leveling for home appliances. We issued the decree for phasing out of inefficient lamps. We introduced EMS for the bulk customer in the state of Qatar. We issued the guidelines for energy conservation as per European standard. And we also issued plumbing code for water and other electricity devices. And that is all this regulation and conservation regulation is available on the Kahrama website. For the legal aspects, we issued the first conservation violation law, 2006-2008. It was one of the, I think, first country in GCC who just issue like we set a conservation violation law in the state of Qatar. We issued conservation guideline or applied for all building permits. We issued sustainability report for electricity and water sectors. Awareness part, we set up very important thing is if you see the one of the iconic building in the state of Qatar is Kahrama Awareness Park. The main objective was organizing this awareness campaign in the state of Qatar, targeting the various sectors, including government and non-government organization, and focusing schools. And we developed several training manual programs under this awareness. And we signed several agreements with the different partners, those who are associated for energy conservation. And they wanted to contribute for the society in terms of sustainable data. Second phase, we implemented our own initiative. And our all implementing initiative was aligned with the Qatar National Vision 2030, the pillars: economical, social, human, and environment. You can see there's 4 sectors. For economical development, under this, we implemented our initiative, which was related to the energy efficiency and productivity improvement, production standardization, and leveling up the products. We set EMS for major customer that will give the direct financial benefit to the customer, and that will give the direct saving for electricity and water. We developed the SHEED initiative for sectorial target with the sectorial target reduction. And many more initiative I don't want to go in detail. And social aspects, as I mentioned, we opened the Kahrama Awareness Park, and we conducted numerous awareness campaign and training program in the state of Qatar. In order to human development, we have given the several training on energy conservation for the various sectors of Qatar. It was the governmental, private, and commercial customer, and several schools are used to visit to the Kahrama Awareness Park in order to development of the society. Environmental development, we set the solar atlas with the Kiri. We decrease carbon emission of the various initiatives. We developed infrastructure for the EV charging stations, and we regulated phase 2 AC regulation. So these are the direct impact on the environment, whatever energy and water what we see. It was the directly impact on the environment in terms of reduction of CO2 emission. What was the milestone achieved in terms of? You can see we managed to install 159 EV charging stations up to end of 2022. We did 110 major energy audits for the several customers, government and non-governmental. We installed water saving aerators and electric saving appliances in the several locations of Qatar. We conducted more than 1,800 awareness activities, events in the state of Qatar. These are my major initiative, a major achievement we did. And what was the output in terms of saving? We managed to save up to 2022 around, you can see the figures, 14,663 gigawatt hour energy, 126 million cubic meters of water. It was almost equal to reduction of 8.9 8,971 million kg of CO2 emission, and equivalent to money saving about 4.4 billion Qatari riyal. These are the initiative. Through the Tarshid initiative, this saving we have reflected. This was the very conservative saving, and this saving was not for the Kahrama, as was saving for the consumer as well, and the direct impact on the CO2 emission. You can see 8,971 million kg we managed. This is the direct impact on the environment. Other program, there's a district cooling program. One of the department, the Kahrama, they managed to implement potable water used by the district cooling plants, and they settled the TR value, cooling rate of the district cooling plants. They managed to save water around 59 million cubic meter of water, which equivalent to 600 million Qatari riyal, and electricity about 11,000 gigawatt hour. Simply setting up the TR value of the cooling plant, which are almost equal to 2 million Qatari riyal. These are the cumulative figure. And this all together in terms of CO2 emission, you can see the 6.74 million ton of CO2 reduction we managed to save from the district cooling plant, district cooling department. And other initiative, even the district cooling also managed to set up their initiative in the several FIFA World Cup stadium. Simply they set the TR value, and they managed to reduce 40% of electricity reduction in the from the stadium, and by setting up the TR value of the cooling system of the TR value. Around 17,000 kilowatt hour, 70,000 cubic meter of water, recycled water used in several part of the stadiums, is almost equal to 0.3 million tons of CO2 reduction. CO2 reduction also we have managed to reduce by mega green projects that are currently ongoing as Siraj 1 PV solar plant. This capacity is around 800 megawatt hour. We managed to successfully decrease 26 million ton of CO2 emission, which is almost 62.6 million Qatari riyal in 2022. Kahrama is managing very well developed grid system, currently improving the expanding and more through the smart grid solution that start at generation and production sites. If you see that just simply improving the generation side and distribution side, we managed to save around 121 million MMBTU, which is the 1,260 million ton of CO2 emission. This total thermal capacity is 10,573 megawatt hour, which is going on. We are still managing. And this saving 1,260 million ton of CO2 is equal to 1.3 billion. We have also potential to save from the industrial area. We are going to expand around 400 megawatt production plant, solar production plant, which is annually that will save around 26 million of CO2 emission. This is in plant phase. And second, Kahrama is also leading the EV charging station. Maybe our colleague will explain about that. Around we have target to install 1,000 EV charging units by end of 2030, which will tend to the definite CO2 reduction. We are developing another thing. We are developing energy storage infrastructure. The plan is 1.5 gigawatt solar power energy storage system, which will also give the definite saving of CO2 reduction. And we are also cooperating with several research institutes and several research innovation, and that is going to lead, and they're going to develop their proposal that will be work for energy efficiency, and there will be the several solutions to implement for energy and water conservation policy. That will definitely also give the definite reduction of CO2 emission future. Tarshid, what is from Tarshid point of view? We are focusing this from the Ministry of Environment, the given target with the collaboration of Sustainability Development Goal. The reduction of CO2 emission was supposed to be in the state of Qatar, 34% from the transportation sector, agriculture sector around 20%, energy sectors around 37%, other sectors around 9%. These are the targets set by the Ministry of Environment. We are being a Tarshid conservation department within our Tarshid capability, and we have managed to listed out some initiatives. By this initiative, we have planned up to 2030 to reduce CO2 emission about 36 million tons. That will give the base down to 53,000 gigawatt hour electricity and 667 cubic meter of water saving. This is our target up to 2025. This is all the output of our journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shamshad. Now we ask Mariam. I believe that's someone second in the line, or is it Dalia?
Engineer Mohammed should be the second one. Is he online?
Mohammed Sharani? Yes.
Yeah, Mohammed Sharani.
No, I don't see him here. Yeah, I don't see him here.
Okay, I can start. Just 1 second, I will share my presentation.
All right, okay. Please go ahead. Your presentation is live.
You can see it in full screen?
Yes, you can control it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mariam Harfoud. I'm from Production Planning Department and the Renewable Energy Technology section. I'm a senior project engineer and I'm working on Qatar Renewable Energy Strategy projects, in which it's worth mentioning that it's work under process. And we're supposed to launch this project by the end of the year. So today I'll be going through its vision, objectives, enablers, drivers. Sorry. And I will take you to a deep dive in the renewable energy technologies in Qatar, and also Qatar efforts in renewable energy and the emissions reduction. Not moving. Okay. So Qatar seeks to introduce its use of renewable energy to capture many energy like environmental and economic benefits of renewable energy. In fact, renewable energy is central in supporting Qatar as it's working to deliver the second national development strategy goals. So basically, this is our motivation and our inspiration for this for setting this strategy, renewable strategy. In order to, and we have two main goals that is related directly to the renewable sector in the NDS. First, the sustainable economic prosperity, which establishes two goals: develop a sustainable and high-quality infrastructure and optimize and sustain natural resources. So renewable energy plays an important part in achieving both goals, and it can meet the growing electricity demand, generate economic returns, and decrease the amount of oil and gas used in desalination and power generation. So in the second part, we have sustainable development to preserve the environment, in which we have a goal to sustain the environment for future generation, to reduce, and the merits is to reduce CO2 emissions from burning oil and limit the pollution. So renewable energy strategy vision basically to enable the development of sustainable and affordable energy systems. So achieving the CO2 reduction was covered by my colleague Shamshad earlier. However, the general principle reducing CO2 emissions depends on introducing efficiency and conservation measures to dampen electricity demand growth and driving electrification interventions to optimize the use of natural resources. So realizing the renewable energy penetration objectives required designing and introducing large and small-scale renewable generation into the energy mix, as well as defining incentives to effectively integrate the variable renewable energy. So fulfilling the socio-economic contribution objective required building competitive local renewable energy sector organizations and monitoring the environmental attributes of renewable energy. So we have many drivers, basically microeconomic drivers, efficiency measures, and electrification. Electrification trends will lead to increased demand and reliance on renewable energy. So in selecting the optimal long-term energy mix, several parameters were considered. For example, mainly the demand, the electricity demand. So what is like Qatar projected electricity demand from 2021 to 2050? What are its possible annual load curves? The projection for increasing on-grid demand for electricity over the next decade. These clusters of factors will affect electricity demand growth to 2050, in which we all took into consideration to design the demand and the forecasted energy mix until 2050 within this project. So Qatar Renewable Energy Strategy will have major economic and environmental impact on national level and will improve energy security, as I mentioned. So throughout the project, we have focused and took into consideration many aspects. Some of them are technical, legal, financial, institutional, and policy instruments, in which came with a set of action list as well. So also we are developing the required set of policies and supporting guidelines to enable the adoption of RE, which is worth mentioning that for the renewable energy sector, we don't have any policy or regulation that allows the customers to connect into the grid. All the projects are off the grid. However, we have some of the distributed generation that segregated. However, we don't have sets of targets and sets of tools that enable the energy sector to develop, and which we all covered in this project. We covered all the missing tools in order to develop or increase the renewable energy sector. So we have, as I said, we have developed policies and regulations, standards and guidelines, and also processes and procedures. Going through renewable energy technologies in Qatar. So Qatar has a significant renewable energy sources that can be leveraged to diversify the power generation mix. We have plenty of obviously solar and also potential of wind, especially offshore, and attractive solar radiation levels throughout the country. This slide shows the maturity of different technologies that we took into consideration throughout the projects. So hydropower, solar PV, CSP, and wind are the most adopted and mature renewable energy technologies. So moreover, the localized cost of energy generated by renewable technologies has been reducing significantly. And solar PV and wind energy have become competitive with conventional generation and current international gas prices. So Qatar is well suited to increase its reliance on renewable energy. As I said, it has a very potential and significant amount of resources, but solar PV, CSP, and wind are the most attractive renewable energy technologies for Qatar. And this shows like the situation in Qatar and how much it's attractive for Qatar for obvious reasons. And as I said, these three technologies are most attractive, and the potential here is very, very huge. And we took this into consideration and we took it into consideration for the energy mix. However, what you are seeing here, only the potential in terms of technology, without taking into consideration the land availability and other constraints. So this is only the potential for the technology. Qatar efforts in renewable energy. So as I mentioned earlier, currently we don't have like a target for renewables for until 2050, in which we covered in this strategy. However, we have announced a few announced targets. For example, here in Qatar Energy, they announced 875. That is for 2024, and by the end of the year, we will publish the new targets up to 2030. We have considered and we have studied until 2050. However, what's gonna be published and announced is the until 2030. This shows the renewable share with the announced projects, and you can see here how Al Kharsa'a project is contributing in the energy mix here. So I'll just give you a glimpse of some details of the Al Kharsa'a project. Here it's 800 megawatt, and it shows here that it's reducing up to 26. Just a second. I'm sorry. My voice is just not okay today. So yeah, it's reducing a lot of carbon emissions as well. So a successful RA program in Qatar could increase the annual CO2 intensity by 42% to 2050. So with the introduction of renewable energy, as we said, Qatar annual emission from the power sector would have reached 29 meter ton in 2030, and we are planning to integrating with the planned integration of renewable, we will only reach 26.4 that year. So in fact, the emissions from every kilowatt hour generated will decrease from 0.5 kilogram in 2021 to 0.36 in 2030, sorry. So one of our also initiatives or projects that we are considering is the renewable energy certificate scheme, in which also like the renewable energy, the concept is to generate certificates that's equivalent to 1 megawatt hour of electricity. So the next step is choosing the right regulatory, whether it's IREC or other like corporation. So Qatar also led several key initiatives related to like resource assessment, project piloting, and network evaluation. This table shows different like projects, pilot projects, research institutions, and yeah, many efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mariam. We will have some questions in the later part of once the session is over. Now I will ask Mr. Mohammed Khalid to share the presentation. Mr. Mohammed, can you hear us? All right. Yes, please go ahead. You're still muted, actually. We can't hear you. You're still muted. We can't hear you. Sorry, can you unmute yourself? Mr. Mohammed, we can't hear you yet. It seems there's a problem with your mute option. Can you try again?
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. This is Engineer Muhammad. Sorry for the inconvenience because I'm entering from another phone. Welcome everybody. This is Engineer Muhammad Sharshani, Head of PV Unit of Tertiary Department. Let me first go through about the presentation. Is it working with you? Fine?
Yes, it's working. Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me, first of all, I will talk in general about the EV structure, infrastructure and strategy, then I will go through the presentation. It's in Arabic, but it's fine. I will explain in English if it's suitable for you. Welcome everyone in this vital session, and thank you for my colleagues that they presented very well about the activities here in Qatar regarding the environmental aspects and the effort that we made in Kahramaa in general. In Kahramaa, Tertiary Department being launched under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Since then, we were responsible to reduce the per capita consumption, also to reduce the CO2 emission, as well as to improve the awareness through the campaigns, through the initiatives that we made so far. And today I will be talking specifically about the EV infrastructure and strategy in Qatar, what we have done so far, what is our goals, what is the challenges that we have been through and we exceeded successfully, what's going to be the target in the upcoming years in the quarter stages and in the yearly stages. First of all, Kahrama has been focusing on providing infrastructure for EV cars charging facility since 2019 to start with. As you know, the growth of electrical cars would be very predicted to be in the rise. Accordingly, Qatar also should play an effective role in EV car charging infrastructure. The EV chargers scientifically planned for public use with proper analysis of populated areas and predicted growth of car, which will facilitate the use of EV car in a good way, and the prospective owners also will be encouraged to use the EV cars without having any possible reluctance. Kahrama in Qatar, as of today, has managed to implement almost 160 EV chargers, and it's increasing. Thus, we have our main target to reach 1,000 chargers within 2030, which is very optimistic number that tell us that the growth in the chargers will allow the users to get more confidence in the usage of the EV cars, which is be available for them all around the country. Generally, to make the comparison between the footprints generated between the electrical cars and the fossil fuel cars, as you know, the fossil fuel-based energy plants will eventually have a carbon footprint associated with every kilowatt hour generated. Every EV car have a lesser component and lesser weight, and accordingly are more energy.
Sorry, Mohammed, like your presentation is stuck actually. Your presentation is stuck. We can't see anything moving.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, you can see it right now?
Yes,
Okay.
now it's changing the Muqaddimah. We are in the introduction page. Yes, we just
I will go forward. So, regarding the, in normal case, I will talk about the IC engine and how can it emit around 0.15 kilogram of GHG gas on average. An electrical car in a country where fossil fuel is used for power generation may emit 0.11 kilogram of CO2. However, Kahrama made a lot of efforts in this regard. We had cooperation strategy with Ministry of Transport, with the help of a lot of municipalities and ministries in Qatar, to have a strategy to conclude the mechanism of the operation and maintenance and the strategy of the billing and so on here. First, I will be talking about the strategy for the green energy. As you know, the governmental aspects and the need to transform from normal cars to electrical cars may have some challenges at the beginning, but thanks God, a lot of people are cooperating with us regarding the transition from normal cars to electric cars, as they have many fears that this is new technology and so on. So from our side, we give them the recommendations and we implement the chargers for them in a good way in many places here in Qatar. Also, we are focusing on the CO2 reduction to aware the people how it's vital to understand the and have the mentality to change the behavior and change the usage of the things that we are using in our normal daily basis, through the cars, through the homes, through the green buildings, green cars, and so on. So we managed to allocate around 9 places, 9 categories: the highways, malls, homes, and so on. As you know, the public and private places to serve the people. Also, I'm proudly saying that we had a very good experience to have a green FIFA World Cup in 2022 through the green stadiums, through the district cooling stadiums, also to implement the EV chargers and all of the stadiums without any issues and 0 losses. So we managed to choose around 200 charger stations, and we are aiming by 2025 to reach around 600 EV units. And so far, we implemented around 160. And in the upcoming phase, we are focusing also to double this number, inshallah. So it's very important to understand the specification of the chargers, as Kahrama is the main key to raise and study and implement the strategy of the implementation for the EV chargers, as we are responsible with the cooperation of Ministry of Transport to spread these regulations, all over the websites and in the official social media places, to teach the people what they have to do, what's going to be the procedures and so on regarding the infrastructure, the operation and maintenance for the consultancy and for the owners themselves. So also we are focusing also regarding the building permits and giving the chargers for the governmental and private sector. And we have already announced it in our website to give the facility for the people and for the governmental sectors and the hotels and the other entities to get this facility and be easy for them to install the chargers without any issues and following the correct manner of the instruction that we give. And regarding the tariff and the bundle businesses, so far the governmental tariff is free of cost for the EV charging, and we are studying and finalizing the tariff depending on the kilowatt on the EV charger itself. For the 50 and for the 100 and for the 150, there's going to be different tariff. Also for the bus chargers, there's going to be a different tariff for them, which will be announced soon, inshallah. Okay. Let me talk here about the control system that we have. I'm happy to say that we have a control room in our department to maintain and operate the chargers that we implemented so far with the help of the call center, that we are receiving the notes and we are solving the problems as soon as we get the tickets. And this control room center facilitates us to guide and operate also and maintain the chargers live, and also to have a file storage and database, and also to identify the services that we will afford to the people, as well as it gives the full reports for the higher management, showing them the total consumption of the chargers, also showing them the numbers and the locations of the chargers on the map itself. Next steps gonna be regulations, strategy, environmentally aspects, and tariff identification, and last but not least, the expansion of the chargers itself from now till 2030, inshallah. As I told you, we implemented so far 160 chargers, fast chargers, DC type. Also, we are recommending the private and public sectors to implement the chargers within the regulations that being given by Kahrama, as well as we are focusing to reduce CO2 emission as much as possible and motivate the people to transform and adopt these kind of technologies. Thank you so much, and I hope that I explained in a very easy and in a short way that what is our business in Tarshid regarding the EV unit, and hopefully, inshallah, we are aiming to have green energy, green environmental, and very successful future for all of us, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you indeed. Let's hope that we will transition to a sustainable future quite soon. Now, may I ask the last presenter, Dalia? Yeah. Can you stop the presentation so that we can ask Dalia to? Okay. Dalia, we just wanted to check if you can. apologize. We just. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Yes, Dalia. Yes. Sorry, we lost you again. Yes.
Yes, can hear me now. There is no presentation on my side. We sent for 3 presentations. I'll be supporting the team. We are the Tarshid department and the PW department from Kahrama side, and we presented 3 presentations that we already wrote to you. Okay?
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, great. So now we will take.
One on renewable energy, one on EV charging, and this is how we see sustainability on our in Kahrama. Thank you.
All right. Great to hear. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask our country members. And we're going to open up a kind of a session for all the members from other Gulf states as well, and so that we can respond to any of the questions that we have. I would appreciate if you all kind of come online, and so we will have kind of a short Q&A with all the members, and then we will sign up with the concluding remarks from Mohammed from Cigre office. There is a kind of question like about SF6 gas actually. The question to all presenters about the plans, if any, to replace SF6 gas being used on high HV equipment with other environmental friendly alternatives. So is anyone like to respond to the question? So we heard someone from Kuwait and Oman talked about SF6. Yes, please go ahead. Yes, Mr. Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding the SF6 replacement, you know that right now the technology is still not mature enough in terms of the green gases or environmentally friendly gases. So as I know right now, maybe there are a few who are there, maybe the pioneers in the GIS, maybe Siemens or GE or Toshiba. Those are the manufacturers, maybe still in the R&D development. So in terms of Oman or OETC as such, we are keep negotiating and discussing this with our peer utilities, those who are in the transmission business. So we're seeking those who are already implemented as a pilot projects. But as of now, still, nobody from the transmission utilities, they roll out or take it as a permanent, because still cannot replace the conventional the SF6 gas with the new one. There are still a few drawbacks in terms of the testing facilities, parameters of these gases, also maybe the cost of these new gases, and but we are keep discussing this with our transmission utilities. As I said, I know that some of the utilities already they have as a pilot project, but it is coming in the coming future because the technology is developing very fast, and we keep it in our strategic plans and our business plans. And as long as there be like some request or national strategies for the green gases, so of course, it will be rolled out in the systems. But as of now, still we didn't use it. This is one thing. It is same also thing for the ester oil in the transformer, power transformers. Again.
Sorry, we lost you for a second. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we are keen, and can also discuss with other utilities from GCC countries and around the globe also. But as I said, awaiting the others, what the performance or the characteristics of these gases.
Okay. All right. Are there any other members from the Gulf states, from Kuwait, Qatar, UAE? Do you like to kind of share your experience about SF6 if you have experimented with other alternatives, more environmental friendly alternatives? Do you have any other reflections? All right. There is a question like when it comes to the proposed grid emission factor for 2030. So it's a kind of like any of the members have plans for emission factor, grid emission factor. What is it going to be? So anyone from Kuwait, from Oman, Qatar? All right, so we don't have any specific response from that one. I have a kind of a generic question, particularly like we talked about the past developments. I wanted to check with all of you, like, what are the major takeaways from the past developments, like, in terms of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, in terms of energy efficiency? What are the key takeaways for the next decade that you are seeing in? Like, what lessons do you think is so critical for you to transition to kind of a new direction that we are looking at? And the pressure that we had in the past was not that much as we are facing today, which we have net zero targets. The climate change is a major concern for the Gulf. And then at the same time, we have this demographic growth and energy, the population growth is rising. So how are we going to manage what things that we have learned from the past and how we need to move forward? Like, if everyone can share their experience about it from your perspective, it doesn't have to be any specific. What do you think are the key issues that we can take it forward, and what we should avoid doing it again?
Can I talk?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Kuwait? Yes.
Yeah.
For future targeting, 2060, Kuwait have a declaration for zero. We are now working and developing the energy strategic transition roadmap, considering all the aspects that we have to be involved to reach these targets. The target is very ambitious, involving all the sectors, mainly oil sector, electricity sector, and also quite investor public and also environment public authority and our investor, the main investor in Kuwait. These targets, as you know, it's focusing major parts is in renewable energy, transiting as changing fuel switching, new technologies, hydrogen as a target for oil sector, the blue hydrogen, thinking about more of utilizing the green or blue hydrogen in power sector generation by blending or mix with the natural gas to have quite a strategy for hydrogen. Strategy for implementation, the infrastructure so we can have the mixed hydrogen natural gas network for our future plan and upgrade the existing also gas turbine to have the plan up to the technology we reach at that time. We have many transition targets for other sector, transportations, food, everything. So we can reach at the end. This is including also carbon credit, carbon certificate, carbon capture also. So we can utilize our oil in the same time by energy efficiency and direct and utilize carbon capture and utilization, carbon capture and storage, and also direct carbon capture. So all these part of the total energy transition picture, targeting to reaching the 2060 zero emission target.
All right, great. Anyone from Qatar, UAE? I'm not sure if Ms. Nawal is still here.
You can hear me?
Sorry. Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes, my name is Dr. Dalia Touhi. I am advisor for the Energy Efficiency Department, Tarshid in Kahrama. Well, we're not that optimistic about reaching the zero level. We have to be a bit down to earth and practical. But if you have listened to Engineer Mariam Kafoud in her presentation, she has mentioned our target for the 42% reduction in CO2 emissions by the year 2030. Also, we would like to tell you our perspective in Kahrama regarding the emissions as a sustainability and reaching them. We look at it from the perspective of energy transition, you know. Now, the three major factors are contributing to the energy transition. Number one, the increasing population and the increased demand. So you have to meet this demand. Number two, you have to increase the energy mix in order to achieve some kind of balance to achieve sustainable energy that's meeting this demand, and at the same time meeting the third aspect of energy transition, which is reducing carbon emissions or emissions in general. So what plays are three major factors: the population and meeting the demand side, and the energy mix. The energy mix, as also you have heard Dr. Shamshed, who has given the presentation about mix that we gather from renewable energy and the improvements in energy efficiency. For our energy efficiency targets, mainly concentrates on improving at generation sites. Number two, the customer himself or herself after the meter, and the Tarshid conservation patterns. Number three is the district cooling facilities and the improvements in saving energy and water. And number four are, as you heard from Engineer Mohammed Sharshani, is the EV and EV charging and the new technology, smart technologies that are helping in reducing the CO2 emissions. And number four, as you heard again from Ms. Mariam Kafoud, about the introduction of renewables, which unfortunately, what is the highest we can do right now is the solar. Of course, we have few initiatives here and there regarding some wind, some hydrogen initiatives, but these are like not to the measures of the solar till now. We are learning from this actually to face how can we meet supply and at the same time save on expenses, because to supply you have to save on the expenses, and at the same time, or the third major thing is to keep the balance of the environment, the environmental balance, not to hurt the environment, reducing the emissions. So as GCC countries, I see that we should help each other in things like standardization and energy tools for the market, to improve the market and reduce emissions that help in saving water and electricity, which is our business in Kahrama, of course, and of my colleagues here. Also the help of promotion of EV cars and the infrastructure for the EVs and to look at the future for the carbon trade, as our colleague from Kuwait has said, Ms. Sana, regarding the carbon trade and our decreasing of the carbon footprint. This is what I have. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you very much. Any reflections from Oman? Is there anyone like to share? Ms. Nawal is trying to join, but she has some issues with her microphone. Mr. Ahmed from Oman Grid. Okay, so there is a question regarding the Paris, the COP28 summit that's happening in UAE by the end of this year. Like, what is your, like, in terms of as a utility provider, what is your input and your framework and ideas going to be? So this is a question from one of our participants. If anyone like to share what you're going to present, because I know that UAE was talking about releasing the national hydrogen strategy by end of July, and they have some more interesting developments coming up before the COP summit that's happening in UAE. So are there any other reflections on the COP summit from other member states? Seems they're quite silent here.
Have like specific information on the material that will be presented in the COP. However, I think it's a good opportunity for us to present our renewable strategy, because we are planning to maybe launch it in September, maximum October. So I'm not sure when exactly is COP, but I think it's going to be a very good opportunity.
Okay.
For Kuwait, we are planning to share to have two presentations also in the COP regarding our pipeline hydrogen plant and other thing, also the footprint and carbon capture also pipeline.
Okay. So the hydrogen seems to be a key dominant issue now, like, so that's a kind of, but there is some sort of a kind of pragmatism from Kahrama that, like, still we can't able to be completely go net, like carbon zero when it comes to power generation. So if you have any further reflections from other member states, any other questions from our participants?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
So regarding the EVs, previously I was asked, so we have a target to reduce the carbon footprint from the transportation sector to shift to green mobility and increasing of hybrid vehicle by 50% by 2050. This is for the EVs and the hybrid mode. Regarding the energy or the grid emission factor, yes, so we are providing the energy emission factor to be able to achieve the net zero by 2050. So we are targeting in 2030 to have 0.27 kilogram CO2 per kilowatt hour. Also, we are considering one of the key enablers for energy transition, the interconnection between the GCC and strengthening and increasing the capacity, in addition to other potential interconnection. For us as well, I think the COP28 roadmap. So in UAE, we have different stakeholders when it comes to energy. We have a lot, such in the ministry, we have the energy strategy, which will be launched before the COP28, the updated strategy. And then we will have the hydrogen strategy as well, and different projects as well in the milestones towards achieving coming towards closer to COP28. In COP28, we will have definitely a contribution and participation. However, I will invite all of you, whoever can join us in COP28 venue, which is in Dubai Expo, which is the sustainable venue, to see our success story, and we will share definitely our ambition and the increased ambition when it comes to renewable or clean energy as well. So thanks everyone. Ahmed, you are muted.
My apologies. Now, we just wanted to ask, like, if there are any final questions before we wrap up with our concluding remarks.
For Kuwait, really appreciated this opportunity to present the footprints in the electricity sector, and I think this is very good summit that we cooperate and we see other GCC strategic and the way forward for this target to have these targets. And I'm sure that the future summit will have more elaborations in the effort and whatever improvement in this sector.
Thank you very much for your feedback, and we will be hosting a session. We'll be hosting a session like in October, where we will be inviting an on-site program like on transition challenges and opportunities in the utility sector. So we're going to focus exclusively on the utility sector. And so we will send you the details like shortly through our Cigre team members. And also I just like to kind of inform that a survey will be sent out to all of you tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Like, there are 2 surveys, and one survey, like since you are the kind of like a leading energy kind of utility provider, if you can share the link to all the utility companies like IW independent water and electricity power producing companies. And so we would like to kind of make sure how far we have come, and like, how was our journey, and how are we going to move forward. And this is a kind of the whole idea of this seminar. And like, the idea is to kind of exchange knowledge from each other and what we can learn from others' expertise and experiences, and also sometimes like our mistakes and the challenges that we are faced. So it will help us to overcome those challenges by through knowledge exchange like this platform. And we really appreciate your time and the commitment for putting up the presentation and sharing with us. And we will be sending you this edited version of the presentation, because there was a big gap like in time duration. And in our next seminar, we hope to invite, we get Saudi Arabia as well, like on time, because they've been involved in the Bonn Summit that's currently happening in Germany. And so there was a kind of a lot of logistical challenges that we couldn't able to get. But hopefully, like in our next seminar, we will invite you to Doha, or perhaps like in another country, where we can have more in-depth conversation and face-to-face discussion about learning the transition opportunities and challenges for the next 20 years. And I really appreciate your time and your contribution, and thank you for all the participants for being patiently waiting and adjusting to our time schedules as well. Thank you so very much. Have a very good day.